In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the automated Adsense site creator. What it does is it creates a site that updates automatically from RSS feeds as well as rotates articles. And you can do this in about 10 minutes with this software. Now, it's good because when search engines come, the content is continually changing as well. Your visitors, when they come back, they will see the content changing as well. And it's all monetized with AdSense. Okay, so now I'm just going to open up a project I've already put in here and we'll just go through it. So to use this software, if you have a project already, you can open it. You can also save your projects when you're done so that you can come back in here and open them again. So let's open up project here. And I'm going to open up one I did without any images, other than I decided to use a custom header image. But you don't have to use a header image. If you leave it off, it just won't be there. Okay, so you put in the site title here, so gardening, news, and information. Okay, and then the main keyword in here. Now this keyword is what the whole site's about. So this is going to show up in different headings in there, and in your image tags, it's going to show up. So make sure you put in the main key phrase you're looking for in here, and you should capitalize it because it is a title. Click next. It goes through and asks you about your images. I just answer yes or no. So I am going to use my own header image. So I'll go next. And then you just select it from your computer here. So you go get your wherever your header is. Okay, so that's how you get your images. Now I'm not going to use a footer image, and I'm not going to use a background image. I'm just going to use a background color. So if you don't put in an image or background image, you're going to have to put in a background color. Now, these are either in hex codes or you can use words like black, blue, or whatever you want here. Click next. Enter the text for the heading 1 tag, so this is your H1 tag, and the color for the H1 tag. In this case, I set it to be the same as the background color. And heading 2 tag, I decided I don't want one, so I'm leaving it out. You do have to put the color in there, however. Doesn't matter, just you can put any color in here, it's not going to use it. The width of pixels for the table. If you're using an image, make sure that you set this to the same width as your image. So what we can do is we can go to the header, and then if we go to properties, and then you go to details, it'll show you in here. You see here it says it's 650 wide. Doesn't matter about the height, so we make ours the same width as that. Okay, the background color for the main table. That's the center area where all your content is. This is probably usually going to be white. The number of items to fetch from the RSS feed. Usually 110 there. The feed URLs you wish to use on the text or the home page. Now your feed URLs need to have a semicolon between them, and they're all in one line here. So it's feed, semicolon, feed, semicolon, feed, and there's no limit to the number of feeds you can use. Okay, now to find feeds, you can just go over to Google, and then we could type in gardening newsfeed. Okay, and then you can go through and find a feed you want to use. Now they do have to be RSS or XML feeds. Okay, here's an example of a feed. So what we could do now is copy this, and we can go back to the software here, and after the last one, put a semicolon and put the new feed right after it. Don't put a semicolon after the last feed, and if you're only using one feed, don't put a semicolon after it. Now, it's better to use at least 2 feeds so that you get some stuff rotating through. Okay, let's click next. Okay, now because you're building an AdSense site, you're going to need to put in at least 1 article on here. I have room for 3 articles for the home page and 3 articles for the image page. The image, it also has an images page, and it brings image feeds in and uses AdSense image ads. Okay, now if you only want to use one article, you don't want them rotating through, all you have to do is copy the one article and put it in every one of these boxes. This is HTML, so you got to use the proper tags here for paragraph breaks and line breaks. You can also use any other HTML you want. Okay, so what I did was I put home article 1, 2, and 3 just so you can see it rotate. Now these are the feed URLs for the images. Okay, so what you need here are image feeds. So I got one from Getty Images here, and I have one from PhotoBucket. And with PhotoBucket, you can just use the format here that you see here, which has the category in it. Okay, so you can just go look to PhotoBucket and look for feeds, or you can just go back to Google again, and if we type in image feeds like this, okay, and then you can go and look through and find a feed that has images in it. Okay, you'll know right away because when you go to the feed, you'll see that it has images right in the feed. Okay, so here's a PhotoBucket page. This is for a particular user called Garden, and you'll see down at the bottom here, there's the feed. If we click on this, okay, you'll see that the images are showing up in here. So we can copy this. Let's copy it to the end here. So right after the last feed, semicolon, and paste in the feed after that. No semicolon on the end. Okay, now there's articles on the image pages as well. Or on the image page, there's one page that rotates all the feeds and articles through it. So again, if you just want to use one article throughout, you would just paste one article in here, but you should really have at least one article for each page. And then we have 3 of these here, so you could paste the same article in all 3 of these if you don't want to write more articles. Now that defeats the purpose of the rotation of the content. So it's a good idea to write at least one. Okay, here you put in your AdSense pub ID in this format, pub dash and your AdSense ID. Here you put in the URL to where your site is. This is for the privacy policy for Google, which it also generates. And the email address, this again is for the privacy policy. And then we click generate. We save it on our computer here to a folder. Let's save it to AdSense no images. Okay, and it generates it for you. And there it is. There's all your files. Now let's save this. When we tell it we're going to exit, it'll ask us if we want to save. We'll say yes. And it would prompt you for a file name if you've never saved it before. Okay, so now what we do is we just upload all of this using our favorite HTML, our favorite FTP program. So let's open that. Okay, so here is the one I just created. So we'll upload that. Okay, now let's go and bring it up in the web page or in our browser. Okay, and here it is. This is the background color we set. This is the image that we use for our header image. And here we have our articles. Okay, so we have our AdSense, and this is the color that we set it as our background color. We set our heading to that as well. Here's our articles that rotate. Here are the feeds that rotate. Now watch when you hit reload. Now it may not reload every time. It's using a random number generator, and there's only 3 articles. So it might hit the same one twice. Same with feeds. There's only 3 feeds in here, or however many we put in. So it may or may not rotate everything every time. So let's hit it. You see, it did rotate the articles to 1. And you see down here, it's now rotated the feeds as well. Okay, so you see here we have the images and the privacy policy as well. So if we go to the images page, here is our image article. here is this is an Adsense block here underneath the images, and then here's our image feed underneath here. Okay, so let's do a refresh here. Okay, you'll see that switched to article 2. And let's watch the feed now. Okay, and you see the feed is switched to. Okay, so you should do several refreshes and make sure that the feed you picked is working okay. If you get an error with one of your feeds, then you should take it out and do another one. You can just open up your file in the program again and modify it. And then here's the Adsense privacy policy. Okay, it's already built for you. This is the domain you put in here, and then all the text it needs, and your email address is in here as well. And back home. Now here is an example of one using the background image. So I used the header image as before, but instead of using a background color, I used a background image. Okay, and then of course it works the same way. It rotates through all of the content. And that's how you use the software.